Greetings! I know it's been a while and I do hope you haven't missed me too much. As you can imagine, I've been rather busy. In fact, if we look at the polls, so have you. You've been spreading the word like crazy. Good job, team. Now, as usual, the media have only been broadcasting the bad stuff about independence for Scotland. Barely a mention that Scotland would get a AAA credit rating, or that the polls are going in our favour, and the Westminster Defence League have lost 24 points in the last year. Ha ha ha. But the most outrageous of their bad news was George Robertson's speech in Washington that Scottish independence would be cataclysmic for the West. And to talk about this, I've got the man himself on the line, who's been let out of his cupboard for 5 minutes to speak to us. Geordie, just what are you on about?
The world is a complicated place at the present moment. You only have to look at what's happening in Syria, in the East China Sea, in the centre of Africa. You only have to look what's happening in Ukraine at this very moment to recognise how fragile the world is that we live in at the present moment.
Yes, I do know how Westminster likes to wade in whenever they like. I mean, the UK has been at war for 243 years of its 307 years existence, and the British have invaded all but 22 countries in the world. Why should we be like Team America World Police?
The United Kingdom is influential, and Scotland is influential inside the United Kingdom. If Britain was to break up...
Whoa, hold the bus. When has Scotland ever been influential within the UK? I mean, we've only got 59 MPs who consistently vote against policies that are foisted upon Scotland. In the last 18 general elections, our MPs have only affected the outcome of who formed a government on 3 occasions.
That was in the past. What I'm talking about now are major repercussions that will happen in the world if Scotland secedes from the Union and Britain breaks up.
Okay then, please explain to me how tiny wee Scotland will cause Armageddon.
If the United Kingdom was to break up, which is what Scotland seceding from the Union means, then it would mean the breakup of Britain and the breakup of the 4th largest economy in the world and the 2nd military power in the West. So it would have dramatic implications well beyond Scotland's borders. If the United Kingdom was to break up, then it would break up one of the anchors of Western stability in the world today.
You mean like how the West stabilised Iraq by illegally invading, bombing it back to the Stone Age, then leaving it in chaos?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not a convincing argument that Scotland becoming independent would cause instability when it's more often than not the West that causes global instability.
The United Kingdom is very much part of the stable, predictable part of the world that is called the West. So if Britain was to break up and we were to spend our time in the UK as a whole, spending the next 2 or 3 years negotiating about the split of national assets or the line in the North Sea or how you picked
first up, there's nothing stable or predictable about the West when every 10 years or so the financial sector is allowed to cause economic meltdowns that infect the entire world. And second, the line in the North Sea is determined by international law. It's not up for negotiation. In fact, your former boss Tony Blair, as well as being responsible for taking the UK into that illegal war in Iraq, also illegally moved the line in the North Sea, didn't he? Yeah, no answer for that one. Moving on. You famously said that Scotland has no language or culture of its own, even though you are Baron Robertson of Port Ellen of Islay, where a quarter of the residents speak Gaelic. Are you no just an utter fud?
Anything I said was crass and offensive.
You're absolutely right there. You made your speech in Washington. Are you doing what the Westminster Defence League have already been caught doing? And trying to drag other governments, who all rightly say they are neutral, into the debate to influence the democratic will of the people of Scotland?
The US and other governments say that they're neutral because most of them don't believe that there is any likelihood of it happening.
Hold the bus again. Are you saying that if support for independence continues at the rates the polls are saying it is, and independence for Scotland becomes a real possibility, that we'll see intervention from other countries in an attempt to subvert the vote.
I'm not calling on foreign governments to intervene in the debate. I'm simply saying that if there are leaders in the world who recognise how important the role of the United Kingdom is and who would deplore the fact that Britain was broken up, should perhaps express a view about it.
So you're asking them to intervene?
Well, I hope that countries who recognise the geostrategic effects of this debate will say loudly and clearly that they want the United Kingdom to stay together.
Sounds like intervention to me. You also said that devolution would kill nationalism stone dead, which it didn't. I've seen Mystic Meg give more reliable predictions than you.
Well, it didn't kill nationalism stone dead since then, and these were words that I used at the time, and I've yet to be proved wrong.
Contradicting yourself there, Geordie. Look, be honest and tell us what your speech is really all about.
It's bluster and it's scaremongering.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Away back to your cupboard, George. Oh, mate. The world is a complicated place, this is true. But Westminster is forever making it more complex. Vast majority of the weapons and artillery that Iraq had, they gave them. And I say gave because Saddam didn't pay for them. We did. The UK taxpayers. The Export Credit Guarantee Scheme meant that if arms dealers sold weapons to other countries and those countries didn't pay up, then the taxpayer would reimburse the arms dealers. They arm the dictators of the world. They're friendly with lunatics like Gaddafi so long as they sell us something they want and knock down prices. But as soon as they become a problem for us, they blow the crap out of them. They're happy to sell the components to make chemical weapons to nutballs like Assad in Syria, but once they turn them into weapons of mass destruction, they decide it's time to invade and take them out. Even though the UK has a massive stockpile of WMDs which they keep just outside of Glasgow, because it's not safe keeping them anywhere near Westminster. The way Westminster has been doing things has not been working. It's time we tried something different. Let's try democracy and diplomacy instead of bullying. It's time to give peace a chance. And that starts with a yes vote. So until next time, spread the word.